So the two hottest HomeKit compatible smart locks currently on the market have to be the Schlage Encode Plus and the Level Lock Plus. And these are much sought after because these are currently the only smart locks on the US market that support Apple HomeKey. The Apple HomeKey feature is so much in demand that it is difficult right now at this time to find one of these locks in stock. But if you did, or if you're planning to pick up one of these locks, you might be thinking, can these locks be rekeyed to the current key I use in my home? And the answer to that is yes. Yes, they can. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in this video. Welcome, and thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, I'm Ray, and if you could do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, tap that bell to get notified when I post new content, and if you find this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. I'd very much appreciate it. So coincidentally, both the Schlage Encode Plus and the Level Lock Plus use Schlage key cylinders. So all we're really going to need are a few tools and a Schlage key cylinder Rekey kit, and you can find those on Amazon for $30 and up. I happen to have a $30 kit, and I'll show you everything that comes in that kit. It's right here, and I'll show you the tools that you're going to need to rekey both of these locks. So other than the kit, all you're going to need are the keys that came with the locks, or key if you only have one of the locks, and the key you want to rekey the lock to. So this is going to be your existing home key, or maybe you want to rekey your whole home. You can pick one of the new keys. Just pick a key that you're going to want to use for all the locks in your home, so you only have one key to put on your key ring. So let's go ahead and get started, and let's start with showing you what's in this Schlage Rekey Kit. So this is the Schlage Rekey Kit, and this is actually how I got it from Amazon. And what it has is a bunch of pins numbered from 0 to 9, top pins, and a couple tools. Go ahead and dump everything out here. And this is a plunge tool. And this tool we're not going to use for the deadbolts. This is if you have a entry knob, but they do include that. Then they give you all these pins, and they're all numbered from 0 to 9. So that's 5. I'm going to go ahead and put these in order so they're easy for me when I rekey. That's 0. Here's a top pin that we won't need for this. 8. 1, 4, here's 9, 3, 7, and 2. Put 4 up here. So those are pins numbered from 0 through 9. And they also include this little key gauge. So one of the important things is all keys kind of have 5 digits on them. If you look at this key, so this is an existing key right now for one of these locks, there is numbers on there, and your key probably has numbers too. This one happens to be 61426. And then when you look at the key, you can see the depressions. So there's a notch there, that's a 6 notch, then a 1 notch, 4 notch, 2 notch, and a looks like another 6 notch. So if you look, these two depths of the notches are the same. And if, say you had a key that didn't have the number on here, they give you this gauge too, so that you can use the gauge to say, find out what the notches are. So you can move that all the way over, and you can see that that falls on 6. Then when you look at the next notch, that falls on 2, and so forth and so on. So if you happen to have an older key that you want to use, but you don't know the numbers on the key, or the numbers are faded or scratched off, you can use the key gauge to give you the numbers, which will correspond to the pins. So what we need to do first is we need to remove the cylinders. So as you can see, each one of these locks has a cylinder on there. We need to remove those so that we can rekey them. And there's the one for the Schlage. And the Schlage is easy to remove for the most part, because all it has is right there, there's a capture screw. You can see that capture screw right there. So all we need to do is unscrew that. And this one's a little more involved, the Level Lock Plus, but once you get in there and pop that out, it's easy enough to rekey. So let's go ahead and remove the cylinders for both of these first. And for that, we're gonna need a screwdriver. And here I have my iFixit toolkit. You can use any screwdrivers. You're gonna need at least a Phillips head for the Schlage, and I believe there's some Torx screws in the Level Lock Plus. So you're gonna need that. A good screwdriver and bit set. Again, this one I got from iFixit. I actually have a review on this one, and I'll link that in the description below if you wanna watch that. But to get at this Schlage one, we'll do this one first because it's more straightforward. So I'll grab a Phillips head or a Phillips bit and a screwdriver, and we're gonna go ahead and remove this cylinder. And the only thing holding the cylinder again is this capture screw. So once we unscrew the capture screw, the cylinder will pop right out. Sometimes you have to remove it all the way, and yeah, you need to remove it all the way. And with this one, this also had a little piece up here that goes right here. But just be mindful that that piece is right there. So there's the cylinder. This is again a Schlage lock cylinder. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the key that goes with this one. I believe that's this one. And put it there. And yeah, it turns. So that's the key that goes with that. And this is just for my reference, so I don't get these mixed up because I'm doing two at the same time. So to disassemble the Level Lock Plus, to get at the key cylinder, we need to remove this plastic shroud. And to do that, we're gonna need a flat head screwdriver to fit in that notch. I use this bit. And we're gonna insert that here. Pop this up, and that'll pop up the plastic shroud. Enough for you to access and get your fingers under there, fingernails, and pop that off. Set that aside, and now you have access to the lock. And this has Torx bits. And so we're going to use a Torx bit to remove those 4 screws. So keep in mind, or be mindful, that there are black washers attached to these screws. You don't want to lose those. So now once those screws are removed, we can remove this part from the lock itself. Set that aside, and there is the cylinder, the key cylinder we want to remove. Now there are some electronics here. You just want to be mindful not to touch or try to avoid touching those as much as possible. You don't want to screw anything up. So we're also going to have to remove this plastic part. This just comes right out. Like that. And then now we can get at the key cylinder. So to remove this key cylinder, we're going to push it from the front, find places to put our fingers, and push it going backwards. So I'm going to place my fingers here where these Torx bits are, and I'm going to push the cylinder forward or back into itself. If you can see, there's a little piece there that's going to push forward. Just let it go ahead and push out of there, and it'll move out of the way. And there you have the cylinder, so we can go ahead and rekey this as well. And place the electronics aside in a safe place. Make sure none of these things get disconnected. And there's the cylinder for the Level Lock Plus to rekey. And I'm gonna place the original key that came with the Level Lock Plus in there, just so, again, for reference. And both of these can be rekeyed with the same kit, and they're gonna be the exact same process for both. So since I'm actually gonna rekey these for my home key, I don't have my home key here. For security's sake, you don't want people to know the number of your key, because then they can cut a key for your locks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a similar unused Schlage cylinder, which is the same as both of these. And I'm going to show you how to rekey it with this key that is an unused discarded key that I don't use at all. So to rekey this Schlage cylinder, what we're going to have to do is remove this back part here, and that's easily done. There is a lock pin there. Hopefully you can see that. And what we need to do is depress that. It's right there. And you can use a straightened paper clip, a toothpick. I happen to have a little bit here that's kind of a SIM card removal tool on this one that you just need to depress this while turning this part to unscrew it. I'm going to lay it down and we're going to unscrew this. And once that's off, you have these two parts, and there is a washer in here, so you want to make sure you have all these parts together. And here's that kind of locking pin. You want to remove that. Underneath there is a spring, so you want to set those aside. Don't want to lose those. The spring is going to come out. There it is. If it doesn't want to come out, that's all right, but let's bring it out. You don't have to remove it, but it's good to take inventory of it, because if it falls out while you're rekeying, the kit does not come with an extra spring, so you're going to need to reuse that spring. So now that we have this back part removed, we do want to get the key that works with this lock, so you are going to need to find the working key, place it into the lock, and turn it a quarter way clockwise, so like that. Then you're going to take the plunge tool. They have two sides, a notch side. The notch side is what you would use for a knob, a entry knob, and we're going to use the flat side. Then you want to place that over this part here and push it out. Can be a little tight, and you want to make sure you push it out. Let the tool do the work, because there is another pin and spring up here that you don't want to misplace or move. That's why you have this plunger tool. So you set that aside, and here we have the actual cylinder. And if you look at this and see how the pins kind of drop and how it's flat, you want to make sure that the pins are flat. So these are the correct pins for this lock, and that's how you know you have the correct key. So we're going to remove the key and drop the old pins out. So all the old pins are dropped out. Let's set those aside. Now, if you want to reuse these pins, just because maybe you have the same number as the old key in here, you want to reuse some, you can do that, but we're just going to start from scratch. So to rekey this, we want to take a look at this number, which is 32266, and we're going to look for the corresponding pins here. So we need 3, which is right here, one number 3 pin, place that there. If you can see that, that's a 3 pin. Two, so 2 number 2s. I wonder if you could cut a key with 1111. 1. Right, that's something you want to do. So there are 2 number 2s and 2 number 6s. These are number 6 pins. And usually you want to line them up, but since I have doubles of 2 of the digits, I'm just gonna place them like that. So for this part, it helps if you have needle nose pliers or tweezers. I have these pliers. These are a little bit tough to grab a hold of, but if you have the finger dexterity, you can just pick those up and place them in here. So actually first I'm gonna put the new key in here, like that. Then I'm gonna drop the pins, remember, from the inside to the outside. So this is the 3, oops, this is the 3 pin. And you wanna drop it pointy side down. So you're gonna drop that pin pointy side down into there. There's the 3. And let's see if I have the finger dexterity to do it with just my fingers. Here's the 2 pin. I'm gonna drop that in there. The other number 2 pin. Drop that in there. And the 2 6s at the end. It's not too difficult. But yeah, I think tweezers would probably make it easier, maybe. There you go, it's all flat, as you can see. They all ride really easy in there. And now that's rekeyed with the correct pins. So now what you want to do is you want to place this back in here. So you're going to turn it in the direction that it came out. Remember, this was turned 1/4 of the ways around. So if I hold this flat and I hold these pins up, I'll just use the tool to do all the work. And you just slide this back inside. I have to fuss with it a little bit, turn it around. There. And this pops out. And now this lock is rekeyed. So now we want to reassemble it the reverse way that we took it apart. So we want to remove the key, return it in the upright position, remove the key, and we want to place this little spring, remember, put it back in there, little locking pin, place that back in there. So as you see, there's an opening here and an opening on this washer. And those openings face the pin. Like that. Then you want to take this part, place it over, and then get your kind of locking pin depression tool, push down that pin and reassemble everything together. And once you tighten it down, that'll lock down. And there you have a rekeyed cylinder. You can test it out. New key, turns freely. Now if this is a little too loose, you can tighten this down further. Or if it's too tight, you tighten it too much, you can loosen this up and the key will turn freely. And there you go, that's how you rekey the cylinder for both the smart locks. So I'm going to repeat this process and rekey these 2 cylinders to my house key. So now I have both key cylinders for both of the smart locks rekeyed. Now what I'll do is reassemble. So now we go backwards. So I'm going to do the Schlage Encode Plus cylinder first because it was pretty simple. I'm going to have to remove the capture screw. Remove that all the way. Then we take the key cylinder, remember that little brass piece there, make sure that's on there, and push it all the way in, and replace the capture screw or locking screw to hold that cylinder in place. There, the Schlage Encode Plus is completely rekeyed to my house key, and this one's all done. And now we have to reassemble the Level Lock Plus. This one, again, a little more involved, but we just have to reverse the process of when we disassemble, we have to reassemble. Get that Torx bit ready. And if you remember, this part slides into here. We push it out from the front, so we're going to place this inside the back. There's this little flap here again of some electronics here, and we're just going to gently move that out of the way with one finger as we replace the cylinder. I want to make sure we push that all the way through until it stops, and then go ahead and push that down again in place. Then we want to replace this backing. Looks to be some weather sealing rubber gasket. I'm going to push that in, reassemble. There's this piece here we want to be mindful of, and these two notches here surround those other two notches. So everything looks to be in place. We want to place everything back in here. The front faceplate, if you will. Push that together. Then we're going to go ahead and reattach these Torx screws. Remember to be mindful of those black washers. Tighten every screw down now. And last part, replace this plastic shroud on the front that we removed. And it should just snap into place. And there it is. The Level Lock Plus has now been rekeyed to my house as well. So just an extra thing I wanted to talk about with the Level Lock Plus is there was some speculation that the Level Lock Plus is just a Level Lock Touch with updated firmware, and people are upset that their Level Lock Touch won't be updated with firmware to make it a Level Lock Plus and give it Apple HomeKit access. I did reach out to Level and they responded, and I did leave a sticky on my Level Lock Plus review, and their response is that the Level Lock Plus is new hardware, new software in the same footprint to comply with Apple's standards for reliable HomeKit compatibility. So I'm going to take that at face value. Some of you out there might not believe that or want to believe that, but if you do want Apple HomeKit compatibility in a Level smart lock, you're going to have to get the Level Lock Plus for that. And I don't think we'll see any updates to enable this functionality, HomeKit functionality, in the Level Lock Touch. And that's going to do it for this one. So now both of my HomeKit compatible smart locks are rekeyed to one physical key, so I only have to carry one key on my keychain, if I carry keys at all. Now the process again was pretty straightforward. Just follow the steps in sequential order and you too will be able to successfully rekey your smart locks or your dumb locks. So until the next one, please take care and be safe out there.